John Mercer Langston was the first African American to sit and pass the Ohio Bar. He was instrumental in the Underground Railroad and instrumental in recruiting African American soldiers to fight for the Union cause. Langston began an apprenticeship with United States Congressman Philip Bliss in Elyria, Ohio. John Mercer Langston was the first African American licensed to practice law in the state of Ohio. After the war, Langston moved to Washington, D.C., where he was the founding dean of Howard University College of Law. You can also visit Langston, Oklahoma, which was the first African American community that was established and named after Langston in 1890.
Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Ann Saxton, the chair of the John M. Langston 29th Annual Hall of Fame Awards Program. Thank you. On behalf of the Board of Governors of the John M. Langston Bar Association, I welcome you to this year's event to honor 4 legends of the legal community. Over the last 28 Hall of Fame events, the awards have always been presented at sold-out hotel venues in banquet rooms. This, however, is a year of many firsts. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic and our concern for you, our guests, our families, and friends, we have scaled down the program and selected this beautiful outdoor venue with social distancing. Thank you. We selected this venue, the conference room, because of its beautiful and refreshing outdoor setting, excellent ambience and cuisine here in Playa Vista, California. We thank you for joining us this afternoon to celebrate and honor this year's Hall of Fame inductees. To get our program away, we have selected a talented man who was born in Oakland, California. He is a girl dad, an actor, writer, producer, and comedian. He is best known for his appearances in The Nutty Professor, The Clumps, but he has also appeared in The Unit, ER, The Parkers, Strong Medicine, and Half and Half, just to name a few of his credits. Without further ado, here to bring you Contagious Comedy, our MC of our event is the well-known Kente Scott. Let's welcome him with a round of applause.
Thank you. I could have kept that clap going. You could. Yeah, y'all stopped short. Waiting to see you cutting up already. All right, Auntie, cut it out now. We just got in here. Stop playing. Hey, yes it does. You like my mama, say whatever she want. How y'all doing? Doing well, looking good, looking beautiful. Everybody's looking lovely. I see some of y'all waited 2 years to wear some of these outfits too. Just, I don't care where we doing this. I'm wearing this right here. This was out before the pandemic and I'm waiting on it now. I see you. Y'all look beautiful though, gorgeous people. Some people still wearing masks, some people not. Everybody got their vaccination card and I like that. They were like, upload your stuff. Like, I was like, good. I got mine laminated. I got mine on the wall right next to my college degree. It's that serious. It's not a game. Because I asked my father. My father was the first person in my family to get vaccinated. And my father's 83 years old. I asked him for his wisdom because he got the vaccination at Kaiser the first day it came out, like it was Black Friday at Walmart. He was open. And I said, Pops, I'm gonna go and get the vaccine so I can get out and do comedy again. What should I get? He said, don't get Johnson & Johnson because that's just like Popeyes. You don't go there for their fish dinner. So that's not what they do. So don't fool with them. He said, Moderna reminds me of my auntie's name. So don't do that. He said, I got Pfizer. I said, well, why'd you get Pfizer? He said, Pfizer made the blue pill. He said, it saved my love life. I feel like it could save my real life. I said, you should put that on a t-shirt. That is a slogan, Pfizer. We can save your love life and your real life. That's it. Like Ann Sexton said, I'm a girl dad. Any girl dads up in here? Any fathers? Single fathers? Oh, girl dad. Any single fathers in the building? Just me and you? It's way too many black men in here for that to be the case. At least 3 of y'all waiting on test results with your fingers crossed right now. Let it be George's. Let it be George's. My daughter said I can no longer say her age because it makes her feel old. I was like, your age makes me old. That's exactly what it is. My daughter's in her 5th senior year at Cal State East Bay up in Northern California. Yes, the people that clapped, you're dyslexic. You hear wrong. You thought I said she was a 5th year senior. I said she's in her 5th senior year at this point. I'm like, what are you majoring in? Longevity? What is taking so long? And it wouldn't be that bad, but after her real junior year, she came home to LA and was like, Daddy, I only got 5 classes left. I want to do the rest of my time online. I was like, cool, 5 classes, 6 months, you'll be out of my house. I'm saving $5,000 in housing fees. 4.5 years later, she's still at the house. She still got 2 classes left. She's taking these classes so slow, I feel like I got dial up at the house. I'm like, why don't you go to Starbucks, get this degree on out the way and get your daddy a caramel macchiato while you're at it. And the reason why I say this is because I was single when she was in college. Like I was single, like when she came home, but when she was gone, my house was a bachelor pad. I didn't have to worry about nothing. She at home all day, every day, all weekend, every weekend. Spring break, you don't want to go nowhere, I will pay for it. And I don't know if you know this, but as women get older, they get less inclined to sneak into a bedroom window of a grown man. Who you live with, your mama? No, my daughter. She's don't even worry about it. So I told her, I was like, look, we got to come up with a system because I'm trying to find you a stepmom out in these streets. So you might have seen this in your college days. You come home, you see a sock on the door, need you to do a couple laps around the neighborhood because your daddy's interviewing potentials. And it was working great till about 3 months in. I came home, it was a sock on the door. Oh, nothing. I kicked the front door in like the LAPD. I was like, wow. I was walking to my house like a game show host. I was like, maybe he's hiding behind door number 1. I kicked her door off the hinges. She was like, Daddy, what's wrong? I was like, where's the little dude got the sock on the door? She said, Daddy, you put that sock on the door last week. I said, oh, Lord. Who almost gave myself a heart attack? Who's going to replace all these doors up in here now? So we just took it back to the 70s. We got beads in the house now, but like, ain't nobody in there? We good. But my friend of mine told me that, because she still lives at the house. She's still there. She blamed it on COVID. But she ain't had no COVID fund before that. Like she ain't had no savings for no apartment. It wasn't like she was filling out applications before the COVID. My friend said it's because she was too comfortable. And I said, that's probably right, because the other day I came home and she had a Cheesecake Factory bag in the refrigerator with her name on it. And I said, what's that? And she said, oh, those are my leftovers. I put my name on it so you can see that I paid for it. I said, oh, that's what we're doing. So I put my name on the refrigerator because I paid for that. I went in my living room, I put my name on the TV and the cable box. I paid for both of those. After a while, I got tired. I just wrote my name on a post-it and threw it on the ceiling. She was like, what's that for? I said, because I pay for this roof over your head. But to get this correct. But I told my daughter at 16, she could start dating. Fathers, is that a good age? No. Yeah. Brothers always like that. I was like that too. Till my daughter got to be 14 and start getting on my nerves. And I was like, I don't want her to miss this early dating phase. She fooled around, be 40 years old, still living at the house with me. Be like, Daddy, what are we doing tonight? Trying to find you a husband. Made you a profile on Match.com. You might want to check it out. But I told her she could start dating at 16 because my father told my sister that, and she turned out all right. And of course, my daughter went to school on her 16th birthday and told everybody that she could start dating because she came home and her phone was blowing up. And I tried not to be overly fatherly with it. There's one dude called the house, and he had way too much bass in his voice. And I said, who is that on the phone? And my daughter did the thing that African-American girls master at the age of 14. If they don't like your question, they will cough, hiccup, and sneeze as a response. I said, who's on the phone? She said, I said, bless you, who's on the phone? And Langston organization, I tell you this, I cannot lie with a straight face. My daughter looked me in my eye and said, that's just my friend Otis. Yeah. I said, oh, this is a problem. She said, I said, you got to hang up that phone right now. She was like, what's wrong, Daddy? I said, here's my problem. I don't know no new Negro's name Otis. The youngest Negro I know named Otis is 56, and he fixes carburetors on Crenshaw. There's no new Negroes named Otis, no new women named Gladys. They come into the world at 33. Arrogant dude called back. I snatched the phone. I said, look here, old Negro name. My daughter is 16, old Negro name, and I have a shotgun. Do we understand each other, old Negro name? I said, I'm sorry, sir. I was named after my grandfather. I said, you're an old Negro named the third. Okay. You need to get you a new Negro nickname like Little Oddie or something. But I'm going to be your host for this whole event. Did y'all enjoy that right there? That's a little bit about me. I'm going to come back, give y'all a little more. What's up, man? Like them, oh, you clean, see. You a jazz singer. That's the jazz singer outfit right there. You be like, what you sing, jazz? Put this on. Like, clean. You ain't even got to sing a note. He just come out. Yeah. You order food. Cool, too. Let me get the number 2 with the Pepsi. But I'm going to be your host. We're going to keep this show going. But before we get to the speakers, we have a couple of guests who are in here from the city of Los Angeles. We have City Attorney Mike Fuhrer, who said a few words. Is he still here? Okay, he said a few words. We just want to acknowledge him for showing up. He said a few words earlier. He might have been at the bar, man. It was early. Might have been getting that drink. And we also would like to bring up District Attorney George Gascon to say a few words, please. Round of applause.
Thank you. And, if you bear with me for a moment, I'd like to thank the serving staff. They're doing wonderful work here today. And I'd like to thank our group. And your Spanish is great. Maybe we'll have to converse later on. I want to thank the Langston Association for the incredible work that you guys have done for so many years. Helping new generations of lawyers coming into the trade is critically important for our work. But when we're talking about bringing African American and Latinos and other minorities and underrepresented groups into the profession, it really makes a transformational difference. As a nation, we're going through a day of reckoning, and lawyers play a major role in that process. And I know that many of you do, day in and day out, and I want to thank you. I want to thank all those that are on the board of the organization for your incredible work, and continue to do what you're doing. It means a great deal to us, and I look forward to working with all of you. And I want to thank you for your support, by the way. Many of you supported my campaign and continue to support our work, and I really appreciate it. God bless you, and thank you.
One more time for District Attorney George Gascon. So, we're going to get the program started now. 29th Annual Hall of Fame inductees. We have some great speakers. We have some fabulous people. We have the creme de la creme. I just wanted to say that. I just been waiting 2 years to say the creme de la creme. We have the creme de la creme of LA law in the building. So I'm going to introduce the first person coming to speak. And I got to read it off the paper because you got to get all this right. The co-chair of today's event is a sole practitioner, family law attorney, life member of John M. Langston Bar Association, current chair, senior law committee, past two-term chair of the National Bar Association Women's Lawyers Division, past president of the Inglewood Bar Association, founding member of the Black Women's Lawyers, current member of the John M. Langston Board of Directors, current member of the Board of Directors of the Beverly Hills Bar Association, life member of the California Association of Black Lawyers, past member of the National Bar Association Board of Directors, past member of the LA County Board of Trustees, and a John M. Langston Bar Association Hall of Fame inductee. And she will be acknowledging today's event's special guests, past Hall of Fame honorees, and the Hall of Fame committee. Without further ado, I present to you Attorney Margot Boucher.
Good evening, everyone. Well, good afternoon. To my mouth? Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming out. I'm honored to be the co-chair of this year's Hall of Fame luncheon. First of all, I want to give all of you a round of applause and let everybody give ourselves a round of applause for coming out despite the pandemic and despite the threatening weather. But we know that God is in control. Thank you so much. As the event chair, Ann Saxton, said, this is a year of firsts. It is the first year we had a president and board serve 2 terms. It's the first year we hosted an event outdoors. This event outdoors. It's the first year the Hall of Fame is a luncheon. And it's the first year we're wearing masks and it's not a masquerade program. I am proud to be a member of the John M. Langston Bar Association because it does an amazing job. It honors the legends of the legal profession, uplifts our community, encouraging the involvement of practitioners, judges, law students, and seniors like myself.
Rejoice.
bring our next speaker up to the stage. Our next guest has served as Deputy City Attorney in Long Beach. She has served the John M. Langston Bar Association for many years, holding positions as life member, corresponding secretary, and chair of past Hall of Fames. Today, she will deliver the invocation. She is married to an attorney who is a retired deputy city attorney, and both of whom are the mother of a California attorney. And she is also the sister of one of our honorees, Victor Anderson. So please welcome to the stage, Michelle Anderson.
The Bible says, unto him the gathering of his people shall be. Heavenly Father, today we thank you for this gathering of friends, family, and colleagues after nearly 2 years of being apart in the pandemic. We thank you for this awesome opportunity to celebrate our 4 trailblazers, Honorable Patty A. Titus, Winston Kevin McKesson, my brother Victor Ross Anderson III, and Honorable Erith A. Smith for their inspiration, leadership, and dedication to the legal profession and our community. We ask you, Father, to bless this celebration. Bless the food that we are eating and are about to receive, the servers, and all that have made this day special. We ask that you continue to bless us with good health and many more gatherings together. And to this, we all say, amen.
Thank you, Michelle. That was beautiful. So as Michelle just blessed the food, and as you already see, the food is coming out, so we will have the lunch served. And while you're being served lunch, I would like to introduce the David Patterson Trio. They'll be giving you the musical background. Yes, you already heard Charles on the keys over here. So beautiful. So no further ado, enjoy your lunch. David Patterson Trio.
Please take your seats, please. We are going to continue with this amazing program this afternoon. Continue to serve food. I want you to continue to enjoy your lunch. But again, we wanted to make sure that to continue this program. And as Ann says, we're not just here having a leisurely brunch. We're here for a purpose. And we are excited about celebrating the inductees today. So we want to make sure that they get their proper due and time to do their speeches and feel your love this afternoon. For any of you who don't know me, I feel like I know everybody, but my name is Nyanza Shah. I am privileged to be the president of the John M. Langston Bar Association. Thank you all so much. I appreciate and am so excited for all of you to be here this afternoon, both in person and Zoom. And it is such an honor to recognize 4 amazing, esteemed legal professionals this afternoon. The Honorable Patty Titus, the Honorable Eric Smith, and attorneys Victor Anderson III, and also Winston Kevin McKesson. In my message in the booklet, I mentioned legacy is defined as something transmitted by or received from an ancestor or predecessor from the past. All 4 of today's Hall of Fame inductees have made an amazing impact in the community, in the legal profession, and within the Langston Bar. I thank all of you for your commitment to this organization. So today is not only about honoring their successes and their contributions and all of their achievements, but most importantly, we just want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being an inspiration for others. Thank you for the hard work and sacrifice that has gotten you to this point and has brought you to the successes that you have earned. And thank you for being a part of Langston's legacy and a part of Langston's family. Thank you. It is truly an honor to have you all inducted into the Langston Hall of Fame today. I also want to thank the amazing Hall of Fame committee led by Ann Saxton and Margot Boucher who have put this amazing event together. We put a lot of time and effort along with the entire Hall of Fame committee who Margot recognized earlier. Thank you, thank you, thank you to all of you. We want to thank all of our sponsors today. I especially, again, want to thank all of our amazing volunteers who helped come out to check you guys in and make sure we were all straight this morning. I don't think the volunteers get thanked enough. they do a lot of the heavy lifting during these events. So thank you to all of the volunteers. And lastly, and most importantly, again, as Ann and Margot mentioned, of course, this is a very special year. Unfortunately, last year because of the pandemic, we were not able to gather in person. So it is such a blessing to see many of you in person. I know many of you have participated in our virtual programs. Many of you have reached out to me personally or reached out to the board and have shared appreciation for the things that we have done during this time. And it is a really, really, again, great honor to see all of you, for you to be here. And so most importantly, I want to thank all of you for being here today. And in closing for me, again, we want to get this program started and make sure these honorees have their time to shine. But there are a few board members in the building, and I would like to recognize them. We have our current treasurer, our current VP, now president-elect, also our parliamentarian and sergeant-at-arms, and our newly elected president-elect Daniel Prince and VP Jamila Harris, and if you all could, and Nick McGrew. Also, if you all could please stand again, I want to thank all of you in public for all of the hard work that you guys have done in the last year to supporting me and supporting this amazing organization. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is a day of celebration, it's a day of recognition, and more importantly, it's a day of gratitude, and I am truly, truly grateful to be here with all of you. Thank you.
I'm playing Lost and Found right now. Somebody lost the keys to an Audi. You know what they do. You got an Audi? Yeah, y'all. You went to the room, just start acting like it's an auction. I take it 25, 25, 25. Oh, you know what kind of Audi it is? It's an Audi. It also has several other house keys, a Swiss Army knife of house keys. You know if this is your keys, so it'll be up here in the front. And we'll have your keys. I should auction them off, depending on what kind of fundraising you guys want me to do. We'll keep the show rolling. Shout out to the Sun for coming out and got us feeling like we're in a black church in the South today. So I want to bring up the first presenter. Give a warm round of applause for attorney Michelle Anderson as she comes back to the stage to present the John M. Langston Bar Association First Hall of Fame 2021 inductee.
Good afternoon. This is Victor Anderson. I'm thankful to be honored by the Langston Bar Association and inducted into their memory or their Hall of Fame. I'd like to thank first and foremost my wife who supported me throughout my career. I'd like to thank a lot of the judges that have helped me with my career. Diane Wayne, Lisa Seppi, numerous other judges. Some of my senior partners, one now deceased, Bill Haight, with the Haight, Brown and Bonesteel law firm, and Jim Crandall with the Crandall Wade Lowe law firm, who is now a judge in Orange County. Let me tell you a little bit about my background. I went to Northwestern University and graduated class of 79. Then I went to USC Law School, graduated class of 83. As a new African-American member to the bar, I was told not to try to go to any Caucasian run law firms, that I wouldn't get a job. Throughout my career, I served on numerous boards involving the practice of law. I served on the Association of Southern California Defense Council Board of Directors. I also served on the Board of Directors for the Federation of Defense and Corporate Counsel. I served in the organization called the Litigation Council of America, where they take the top 1% of trial lawyers in the country in the civil practice. I also served with the Association of Defense Trial Attorneys in the United States and numerous other organizations. I've served on the board of directors for the Boys and Girls Club of Venice, where I was on its board of governors and on its board of directors. A few years ago, I was number 15 for raising the most money for St. Baldrick's, which is a fundraiser for pediatric cancer research, where you get your head shaved bald. I raised more money than most anybody in the whole world. I was number 15 in the whole world for raising the most money for kids dying of pediatric cancer, so I could help save their lives. I also served for 5 years as their MC for the organization for our local event. And once again, I'm very honored to be inducted into the Hall of Fame for the Langston Bar Association. Thanks.
Hello again. I like to think of my family like the song 12 Days of Christmas. Our heavenly parents, Victor Anderson Jr. and Sarah Anderson, gave birth to 7 children, 2 doctors, 2 lawyers, an artist, entrepreneur, business owner, and a writer, producer. Wow. So, thank you, Jennifer Tree. And as most parents, they always claim, we love you all the same. You know that. My big brother fondly called Dida when I was small, and I called him my Rolo. Victor never wanted to leave me at home when he had to go to school. But what was really interesting about Victor is he thought the worst thing about going to school is that he was being taught by a traitor. Because his teacher's name was Mrs. Kuchel, and he thought that it was Kuchel. So he would run home, and he was very aware of politics at a very young age. And he just thought it was horrible that they let that person in our country and she's now his teacher. So he would run home every day, you know, oh my gosh. Now, as most young people know, career aspirations. Still, on his high school teacher, who also was my teacher, and she's here today, Karen Spiros. She enlisted him in her speech and debate team. They won state championship. And from there on, he was on fire. His passion for logic, reasoning, and the debate became the center of his universe. And then, with your help, Aaron Spiros mentored him and helped him pursue his education at Northwestern University. Life changed. And then he ended up at USC for his law degree. And of course, the hardest part of Victor going to USC was me having to decide which sweatpants and sweatshirt to wear on game day.
Yeah, I'm fully
because my brother, Eric Anderson, who is also here,
Say it again.
LA. So on game day, I got up and have LA on the top, USC on the bottom, or something, because I didn't know what to do, and I didn't want to divide the boys. But anyway, all that aside, Lolo, I love you. Thank you, God.
First, I'd like to thank my sister Michelle. Usually, it's the younger one that says that the older one is an inspiration, and the older sister is an inspiration for me. Many years ago, she called me up after I'd been practicing law for like 5 or 6 years. She goes, "Hey, they're thinking about going to law school. What do you think?" I said, "I don't know what to think about that." I said, "Let me tell you this. Your nights I'm staying up all night getting ready for trial and looking for big hearing. There's other times when I'm enjoying a victory at trial." I said, "But to be a lawyer, you have to be willing to make every kind of sacrifice. So I'm not going to tell you to be a lawyer because I don't want you sitting up late at night, working all night on a big trial, and Victor talked me into this." I said, "But if you do decide to become a lawyer, I'll help you in any way I can." And so that's what I did. I said, "This got to be your choice. Because to be a good lawyer, you have to dedicate your life. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices which include your family." Next, I'd like to thank the Langston Bar Association. I feel so delighted to be honored by this esteemed organization. Somebody was talking about me being old when I was a kid. But see, I'm Victor Anderson III, and I'm the middle of the 7 kids in my family. I have one older brother, and he did not get my dad's name. And I always joke with him. I said, "You know, when you were born, Dad took a look at you and said, 'I'll wait.'" What's really funny about that is I look almost identical to my dad. I don't even see nothing like my father. I would like to thank my whole family for supporting me, and I would most likely like to thank my parents, even though they were with us any longer.
I am deeply husband.
But the only reason I'm here today, more than just nature, is because of their parenthood. They told me no matter what challenges I face in life, I believe in myself, and that I can succeed in every way I wanted to. And I can tell you, over 40 years ago, when I first started practicing law, or before I even began, I interviewed with some law firms. That was when the bar was kind of really segregated. And I was told that only if you're an African American, you should only go to the district attorney's office or the public counsel or public defender's office, because you will not get a job in mainstream law firms. But my mom said to me, she goes, "You know, if anybody can do it, Victor can." So I had 2 bad experiences in my first 2 interviews. A fellow interviewed me over the phone, told me to come down his office in Newport Beach. I was living in his reception area. He showed up late. He took a look at me. we got to his office, and then 30 minutes later, he called me and he said to me, he said, well, I see your resume is very good, but it has nothing to do with my practice. Despite the fact that he had my resume and that basically hiding over the phone. He said, I got a good idea for you. Why don't you go out in 3 years of practice and then call me in 3 years? So what did I do? I went out, got 3 years of practice and called him in 3 years. I knew he wasn't going to give me a job, but I called him anyway, just to say, hey, I did what you said to do, and I'm here, and I've got a great experience right now. There's another firm that called me up, and I'm not going to mention the name of the firm because I imagine these people are probably either gone or retired, and I don't blacklisted them. But they called me up in Orange County, and they said, come down, we want to talk to you. So I got off work early from Greenville, drove down to that law firm, sat in a waiting room for like 30, 40 minutes, saw two partners walking by looking at me, and the next thing I know, 45 minutes later, they called up and he said, well, the two partners that were supposed to interview, they're out of town. And I was like, interesting. And they never called me back from that meeting. So the last firm I interviewed with before that was a firm called Baker on Burnsville. I popped myself up again to go for another interview. Went to an interview, went great. They invited me to their two firms looking bar that night. And then the next day, the senior partner, Bill Hake, called me up and said, I want to talk to you tomorrow. I said, what are you talking about? I was just there yesterday. He said, we want to talk to you. So they made me an offer that day. And I went back the next day and I accepted me on this spot. I lasted 7 years at that firm where I made partner. Then I went on for another 7 years as a partner. Then I went to another firm in Orange County, Jim Crandall's firm, who's now Judge in Orange County, for another 10 years as a partner. And then I went back to the Economic Bonso firm for like 5 years as a partner. Then I went to the Thompson Co. firm based out of Dallas, Texas, but I was in the office with the partner there. And then due to health reasons, like 3 years ago, I had a stroke, and it kind of affected my practice, so I decided it's best for the client, and my clients to let me retire and not try to continue to practice law. So that's my story. Other than that, the other details are in the program. I'd like to thank my high school teacher who we've already talked to. She recognized me in high school here in service. And she first looked and she said, you know, you look like your Northwestern material. And I'm like, I was like a junior or so in high school. I'm like, Northwestern what? She's like, Northwestern material. So she mentored me. I was accepted in Northwestern. So were it not for her, I would not have probably gone to Northwestern University. I'd like to also recognize my great friend, Lisa Seppi, Judge Lisa Seppi, sitting right here. I think, if she remembers that far back, she actually worked for me for a little bit of time at the Big Fund. But then she passed me up as a judge. And then also Diane Wayne, who could not be here any longer, she was here earlier today. She was a judge. She was talking to me about trying to become a judge myself. But by that time, my girl was making too much money to retire. We can take the bench. I'd like to also thank my younger brother, Eric Anderson, sitting right here. He's a writer producer for TV and film. And my brother Brian, who could not be here due to work commitments. And lastly, but not least, I'd like to thank the woman I married 8.5 years ago, Diane Douglas. Would you please stand up? Would you please stand up? She's not going to stand up. If ever you're going to stand up for something, please stand up for me. I have to tell you, these are not just words, these are really heartfelt feelings. 3.5, 4 years ago when I had a stroke, it was in the morning in another place in Hawaii. I didn't even know what was going on. She recognized immediately I had a stroke. She grabbed me and sent me a call, ambulance. And I think if she were not there with me and she was on, I don't think I'd be here today. If I were here today, I'd probably be crippled for life. But she saved my life. Langston Bar Association. Say that with us. It's time for Victor Anderson III. Our next presenters coming to the stage need no introduction. These two gentlemen, I call them the multi-million-dollar attorneys. Please welcome to the stage John Sweeney and Carl Douglas, the presenters for the next promotion.
Good afternoon, everyone. What a great day it turned out to be, huh? County of Langston Bar Association. Great afternoon. When I was deciding what first sentence I wanted to put her patients in, I wanted to capture them. I also wanted to really show the audience Kevin Tesson's personality, life, and what he stands for. And I came up with the following. The best way to describe Winston Kevin McCusson is one of the great trial lawyers of our time. And he is even a greater and more dedicated family. And you know that's true. Don't we all just love Kevin? Don't we? I gotta tell you, I ran into a lot of his childhood friends. That speaks volumes about, I see him out there, about how much he is loved when you can have friends over your entire lifetime. I've known Kevin since we were in our 20s, before we were lawyers. We are now in our 60s. I practiced law with Kevin for about 20 years. I interacted with him on a daily basis, tried many cases with him. I consider him a brother. Kevin often speaks about his beloved 78th and Dinker neighborhood. Anybody who knows Kevin, anybody who knows Kevin, he has regaled you with stories about 78th and Dinker, where he grew up. And he still loves that area, still frequents the restaurants. He is truly a local boy makes big story. Kevin was educated in the Catholic schools, graduating from St. Raphael's Elementary School and Mount Carmel High School. He then went to Loyola Marymount University, where he graduated cum laude and matriculated at UCLA Law School, where he graduated. During college, he started dating his wife, Michelle, who was a student at Mount Holyoke College in Massachusetts. But as Kevin will tell you, and I'm sure that a lot of you have heard these stories, Kevin worked at the airport as a sky cap. So he could fly back to Massachusetts all the time, and that's what he did to win her over. After working in the defense industry, after graduating insurance defense industry for about a year or two, he landed his dream job. He got a job as an associate with Johnny L. Cochran Jr.'s firm. One of the giants, and my mentor, Carl's mentor, and Kevin's mentor. There he sat at the feet of Johnny Cochran, learned his style, learned how to become a great trial lawyer, and learned his work ethics. After that, Kevin felt that he was experienced enough to go out on his own, so he left, and we became partners for 20 years. Kevin is a storyteller, and he learned how to tell stories as a sky cap, as I said, and that served him well as a lawyer, because trial work is about telling stories, it's about persuading a jury, and that is the basis of Kevin's success, I believe, as a trial lawyer. That is his work in interacting with people at the airport as a sky cap. During the period of 1988 through 1998, Kevin's and Michelle's 3 children were born, 3 boys, Jason, Chase, and Madison. I ran into Jason and Chase here. I don't know if Madison is here. Yeah, there he is. There he is. All college graduates. Jason from Morehouse, Chase from Morehouse, and Madison broke the family tradition and recently graduated from the University of Miami. Round of applause. In the late 90s, Kevin's and the city of Los Angeles' life changed forever. He broke the Rampart scandal and changed the way policing is done in Los Angeles. We tried several cases together, one of which was in Porterville, California, the seat of the Ku Klux Klan. We went up there, we won the case, and we spent 2 weeks away from our families. That crystallized Kevin's dedication to his profession. Kevin richly deserves this award, and now the John M. Langston Bar Association Hall of Fame is up to date and complete. Kevin, congratulations, my brother. You richly deserve this.
Thank you, John. I'm Carl Douglas. I'm a trial lawyer. The worst thing you can do is to give a trial lawyer a microphone and a captive audience. And it's funny because John and I and Kevin worked together in Beverly Hills for 13 years. We were 3 brothers in suits walking down Beverly Drive. And whenever we would go to lunch, everyone would know us. Hey, there's the brothers on Beverly Drive. Kevin McKesson is the closest thing that I have to a brother. And John and I never compared our notes about what we wanted to say. But it's amazing how what we are saying echoes so clearly.
It's kind of like you lost it when you're looking up an issue and you see the same case coming back and forth. You know you've got the issue down well. I want to focus on 3 aspects of my brother's life so you can understand why he is such deserving of this honor. As John said, Kevin is the son of a sky cap. And as the son of a sky cap, he was a teenager making money. He was imbued in that job with discipline, with a work ethic as a young man. He learned to look at his clients in the eye and to help them. This trait that was passed down from his father imbued in him a certain ethic that serves all of his clients well. I am sure that Winston is looking down today and smiling with pride. The second thing about Kevin McKesson you got to know is the brother is an old soul. Kevin can tell you about 1934 and what happened then. Kevin can tell you about what the pitch was when Jackie Robinson was up to bat in the 8th inning. Hey, there you go, Kevin. doesn't own a computer. I said it. Kevin had 3 sons, and he did not own cable because he didn't want his kids to be focused on television. Kevin has books in his house that he has actually read. He loves autobiographies. The brother got 50, 60, and he has read every one of them. Amen. Kevin is an old soul, so he likes old sleepy time jazz. He don't like no fusion. He don't like no quiet storm. He likes that old sleepy time jazz. And the third thing that I want you to know about my brother Kevin McKesson is his commitment to love and family. He married his high school sweetheart. I've known Kevin for 40 plus years. I ain't never heard Kevin say anything romantic about another woman. Never! He ain't never said if I wasn't iffa. Y'all have an iffa. Kevin McKesson tells me all the time about how he and his wife sat in bed and talked. They sit in bed and talk. Folks, I am now enjoying the 21st year of marriage. It is the first year of my second marriage. However, please understand, it was the example that Kevin and his lovely wife Michelle showed me that made me realize love is still possible. Folks, please join me in welcoming the 2021 Hall of Fame Award winner, Winston Kevin McKesson.
Talk now, but let's play the video first. Talk now. Okay, thank you very much. You know, I have to start this by quoting a dear friend of mine who couldn't make it. He lives in St. Petersburg, Florida. His name is Dr. Russell Jackson. And he always starts by saying, God is good. All the time. And on the video, which I hope you'll play, I thank all the guests except for 2 of my dearest friends, DeAndre and Patrice Parks. And I want to say that DeAndre has to get out of here because he has a big central plan in a minute. But I also want to thank my 2 brothers, John and Carl. I love those guys. I mean, they're my hearts. And they're not only guys to love, but they're guys to admire. I mean, they practice law in the Thurgood Marshall and Johnny Cochran tradition. I mean, those brothers are out there going after police force. John uncovered the executions where criminal street gangs infiltrated the LA County Sheriff's Department and were systematically depriving black citizens of their civil rights. He went after them. My brother Carl Douglas screwed up the jury structure at the courtroom we call the bank. You see, the bank used to be a place where you had 9 or 10 African Americans on the jury all the time. But Carl messed that up for us because Carl went to the bank against GM and he won a case for $4.5 billion. I didn't say million, $4.5 billion against General Motors for a car that blew up and destroyed the lives of 4 black people. So these gentlemen practice law in the Langston tradition. They practice law in the Johnny Cochran tradition. Now my first, and I'm not going to be long, don't worry. I attended my first Langston meeting over 40 years ago. Wow. I was a second-year law student at UCLA, and I was a part-time law clerk for Johnny Cochran. And he told me, Kevin, I want you to come down to one of our meetings. And the meeting was at Charles Scarlett's house. Al DeBlanc was president, and it was like a Hall of Fame for Langston meeting. And Langston had the then chief of police as a special speaker, Chief Darrell Gates. And Darrell Gates was hated in Los Angeles by black. And unlike a lot of bourgeois black organizations who try to make the police chief feel comfortable, Langston didn't do that. They challenged him at every point. And what I do remember, every time Chief Gates would make a statement, you would hear this white man who was overweight, he would take out his Churchill cigar and he would say, bullshit! Bullshit! And Candy Cooper knows that was Judge Jack Tender. And he was the first white lawyer who was inducted into Langston's Hall of Fame because he was a member of this organization when it was the Langston Law Club. Now, some people will say, you know, I understand why Langston came into existence because things were different back then. I mean, Langston was a law club because the LA County Bar would not allow black lawyers to become a member. So they were the Langston Law Club. And the story goes that they would meet. Jack Tenor wasn't black, he would go to the meeting. And the Tenor would slip back and he would open the door. And all the black lawyers would come running in. And so you are in an organization of fighters. And things haven't changed. You know, John talked about my own neighborhood, 78th and Dinkin. When I was growing up, they used to have a comment about the legal system. The saying went like this: Lady Justice is blindfolded, but when it comes to us, the broad be peeking. and nothing has changed. I mean, if you look at a situation that just occurred, the Las Vegas Raiders lost their football coach because he commented that a certain African American had lips like Michelin tires. Now, you may ask initially, what is that relevant to? How does that pertain to the law? Well, it pertains to the law in this way. His dehumanization of African American features is something that goes back to 1619 when he first arrived here. You can't maintain a system of slavery as vile as was here in America on these shores and not humanize the slave in order to reconcile any notion of morality with this vile treatment. And as a criminal defense lawyer, I see it all the time. Because this dehumanization of black features is why in America, to many, crime has a black face. I mean, what happens is this: black features lead police officers to believe, what is he up to? He's up to no good. In 1955, Miles Davis was beaten up and arrested for loitering on 52nd Street in New York City, for loitering in front of a club where he was playing and his name was on the marquee. He went outside to smoke a cigarette. At the airport, Hall of Famer Joe Morgan was stopped at the airport and he was harassed because of his black features. Professor Henry Louis Gates of Harvard was stopped and harassed in his own home because of his black features. My mentor, John Sweeney's mentor, Carl Douglas's mentor, Johnny L. Cochran Jr. was stopped with his children at gunpoint on suspicion that he stole his Rolls Royce that had not been reported stolen and had the license plate JC Junior INC. Republican Senator Tom Scott, kind of middle of the road African American, he states he has been stopped at least 16 times for no reason. Not only is there an assumption that you're up to no good, but once you're stopped, there's an assumption that you're dangerous. Ask yourself, why is it that Eric Garner, an unarmed man, was killed on the suspicion he was selling cigarettes? Why is it that Michael Brown, another unarmed man, was killed on the suspicion that he stole some cigars? Why is it that George Floyd, another unarmed man, was killed because he was suspected of passing a fake 20, and my dear friend Candy Cooper's former colleague, Judge Basque, was able to sit on his terrace and fire multiple shots at the LAPD, and he was arrested with not any more force than it took to handcuff him, and never went to jail. You have to ask these questions. And in closing, I want to talk about a dear friend that I have that is going through something. And we call him MRT, but his name is Mark Wrigley Thomas. Now, those of you who, like me, handle federal cases on occasion know that a federal investigation normally takes 3 to 5 years before they file the lawsuit. So make no mistake about it. This criminal action was initiated under President number 45, Trump. This is not a new thing. This started under Trump. And all of you who follow politics even slightly know that one of Trump's and the Republicans' main agenda is reducing the black vote. I'm going to digress for a second. Every year, the Urban League does a report on the condition of Black America. And the only area that they report favorably year after year is the fact that we go to the polls in a manner that far exceeds our numbers. And that didn't just happen by accident. There are two African Americans, one more in the East and one on the West, who are considered at the forefront of registering Black voters. And everybody knows the one on the East, it's Stacey Abrams. I mean, she basically delivered the presidency to Joe Biden. But as much as I love and respect Stacey Abrams, I mean, my two older boys went to Morehouse and she's a graduate of Spelman. Ladies and gentlemen, Stacey Abrams is a Johnny-come-lately. Because MRT, Mark Wrigley Thomas, was registering Black voters by the millions before anyone ever knew it. So don't ever think that there is not a political motivation behind this investigation and this prosecution. And before you join the crowd and condemn another brother, just remember who your friends are. Thank you very much. And thank God.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I want to start off by thanking you and letting you know how much of an honor it is to be inducted in the Langston Hall of Fame. I attended the first Langston Hall of Fame awards dinner and was looking forward to the day that somehow, some way I would get in, be selected to be in this August group. I'd like to begin by thanking my beautiful wife, Michelle, my sons, Jason Chase Madison, and just like my daughter, Aaron Hill. I would like to thank my closest friends in life, Kevin Pickett and his sister, Vicky, my brother and sister at one of the tables, Dr. Gail Wyatt and her husband, my good friend, Lewis Wyatt, Oz and Lynn Scott, very dear friends, Cynthia and Allure Duba, Kerman Maddox and Capri Maddox. You know, no lawyer could achieve anything without good people working with him, pushing him forward. And I have that in my sister, Sabrina Martin Edwards, one of the best, two of the best young lawyers in the world, Stephon Jones and Denise Aubrey. I would like to end this by saying I really have to owe everything. I owe everything to my parents, my father who's deceased, and my mother who's watching on video. Thank you again, and God bless.
One more round of applause for Winston Kevin McKesson. My fellow Bruin brother had me raising my fist on that speech. Black Bruin power in the streets. Yes. One more time. That was amazing. Brother Victor Anderson is from USC, so we got to give him equal time. So give the Trojans a round of applause as well. But next up, I would like to bring to the stage Attorney Maureen Teague, and then direct your attention to your screen to the left to listen to our next presenter, Professor Robert Gording, who will be presenting remotely, both to introduce our next honoree, Judge Erith Smith.
Okay, I'm supposed to speak first. Hopefully the mic will work. That was just so amazing, that talk. I don't know that I can follow it. I have to just tell you, Judge Smith, when you asked me to speak for you, every time I thought about what I could say, I became completely tongue-tied. I don't know how I can convey in the few minutes I have what a brilliant, hardworking, talented, dedicated, and kind woman Judge Erith Smith is. So I won't be able to go into all of it. I'll tell you a little bit. Judge Smith was appointed United States bankruptcy judge for our district here in 1994. That's when I was fortunate enough to meet her. She is the only African-American woman to be appointed to the bankruptcy bench in the entire Ninth Circuit. And she is the longest sitting African-American bankruptcy judge in the country. Now, that appointment alone would have secured her place in history. Ours is the busiest bankruptcy court and the most highly populated district in the country. And Judge Smith has handled thousands and thousands of cases in the most skillful and talented and wonderful manner you can imagine. She's redefined what it means to be a judge. I've learned so much from her. But doing a difficult job really, really well wasn't enough for her. She has lent her unique perspective to so many more committees, boards, and organizations than I can ever list here. So I want to just mention two areas that I think illustrate why she's such a leader among leaders, a model judge, and a wise elder leading those who come behind her. First, she's been recognized for her professional expertise in ways that are even uncommon among judges. I have to tell you that these are amazing recognitions that we are so proud of her, and why we have 2 tables of bankruptcy judges and many more virtually here, because we're so thrilled about this award. She was invited to be a fellow of the American College of Bankruptcy. And I think the analogy for the non-bankruptcy types here is it's sort of like a national hall of fame for bankruptcy and insolvency types. It's by invitation only, and it's a rigorous vetting process. And they review all your achievement, your scholarship, ethical standards, the leadership in the community. And Judge Smith is the first African-American female judge inducted into the college in its history. And I could probably go on and on about all the firsts that Judge Smith did, but I know I better hurry. She was also appointed by United States Supreme Court Justice John Roberts to the Committee on the Administration of the Bankruptcy System. There is only one bankruptcy judge at a time ever invited to be part of this select group that oversees the bankruptcy process for the whole country. Judge Smith is the first African-American female judge to do that, and she was asked to serve not once, but twice. I think you might have been smart enough to say no the third time. Second reason I want to tell you why this award is so richly deserved is Judge Smith has really dedicated her life to bettering the lives of others. I could mention a whole bunch of things there, but I know this has been a long day for you. She hosts career days every year in the courthouse for the students from Samueli Charter School in Santa Ana. She serves on many boards. Do we have some Samueli people here? Yay. She also helped develop a very important program called Roadways to the Federal Bench. Who, me, a bankruptcy judge? And it was the first of its kind program, and it was broadcast live to 19 cities around the country. And it was designed to create a more diverse pool of candidates for bankruptcy judgeships. She helped get a lot of people in the pipeline. She's been very active with her alma mater, Loyola Marymount University, a few of you here. And she's even funded the Eric Smith Annual Scholarship Award. And that award, with the contributions of LMU, has given over 100,000 in scholarships to African-American students at LMU. Everything she does, she makes sure others follow in her footsteps. And if you don't know Judge Smith personally, and I know many of you here do, you might think, well, she's just always working, doing good. But those of you who know her know that she is the most fun, wonderful storyteller you ever want to meet. She is an amazing colleague, and we are all so thankful to have her. In her spare time, she teaches Zumba classes. Now, she not only goes out to churches and old age homes and teaches Zumba. She gets a bunch of judges dancing. And we laugh and trip all over each other at every conference. She has not only earned her rightful place in the Hall of Fame, she has really earned a place in our hearts. She's helped pave the way for others. She's cared for those who have not had the advantages some have had, and she's gotten lots of people happy and up and dancing. All of your colleagues are here, all of your friends are here to say, and those who are attending virtually, we are so thrilled that the Langston Bar Association has given you this award. Thank you, Langston, from the bottom of our hearts for honoring our colleague and rock star, Judge Gareth Smith.
Hi, everyone. How are you? I hope you're having a wonderful day out there. Today, it is a special day, and I hope it's filled with California sunshine. And I know you have some much needed rain on the way. That's a good thing for you all. My name is Robert A. Gordon, and I want to thank the J.M. Langston Bar Association for allowing me to appear this way. And I especially want to thank Judge Smith for asking me to appear at this event, even though I have to admit, I did kind of volunteer for it. I kind of pushed my way in too, but she seemed to be in favor of the idea. So here I am. I want to wish God's grace and blessings to the many honored guests that I am sure are there, and that means everybody that's there. I want to show some love and respect to my former colleagues of the bankruptcy bench, the members of the Central District now, who I'm sure are there in full force. I guess I'm a former colleague. Maybe I'm a colleague emeritus. How about that? Or maybe we'll just ask Gareth to be the judge of all of that semantic nonsense. And I also want to give a special prayer of congratulations to Judge Smith's family, who I know are filled with a unique over-the-moon joy for the great blessing that is happening for them today, because as that wonderful, brilliant philosopher, Sly Stone, said many, many, many years ago, it is a family affair, and that is the truth. So you all enjoy it too. But most of all, with my heart, all of my soul, and every bit of being, a very special congratulations to my dearest darling friend, my wonderful angel, the Honorable Judge of the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the Central District of California, Gareth Smith. You earned it, you deserve it, and you should celebrate it. And if I was out there, I'd say, let's go get some Roscoe's chicken and waffles to celebrate it the right way. And she might be down to go. But never, ever forget how you got it. You got it by being the one-of-a-kind person that you are, who time and again put the needs of the community up front. A person who has been, and I believe always will be, a public servant. That's all judges are, public servants in the truest sense of the word. Because a true public servant is always, and at the same time, a true servant of God. And I hope I don't offend anyone by saying that, but that's my opinion. And I've learned that from my experience, and I've had a lot of it. Although I am coming at you from far away, I am here to tell you that this occasion is so special and so important that I am indeed fully suited up. I'm not going to prove it to you, but take my word for it. Under oath, I am. I even have my dress shoes on, because that's how important this event is. How did I meet Gareth? We met about a year or so after I was appointed to the bankruptcy bench here in Maryland. She was holding down a solo spot as a panelist. She was the entire panel, which is not uncommon to her, at the educational program that we were having in Seattle, judges only, and she was discussing the endlessly fascinating topic of the Central District's use of tentative rulings. Now that's bankruptcy arcana. And we were all mesmerized by her presentation, as you can imagine. But I wasn't really listening. I was thinking, wow, we don't have any bankruptcy judges who look like her on the East Side. And that's the truth. And so I said, this is a bankruptcy judge I need to get to know better. So we had an endless lunch that day, and we did over time get to know each other better and have been very, very fast friends ever since. And what a wonderful friendship it's been. Aerith has been a supporter, an advisor, a confidant, a teammate, an editor for some of my writing, and a very loyal companion and colleague, and also sometimes a therapist, to be honest. And she wears all of those hats very, very well, okay, to perfection. And I know there are many, many others within the bankruptcy universe who admire her and feel precisely the same way about her steadfast commitment to the true meaning of the words above the entrance to the Supreme Court's building, equal justice under law. Easy to say, hard to find. Can I get an amen on that? It's always so touching for me to visit the court and notice that it's just a tiny little building, relatively speaking, that resides in the shadow of the vast Capitol. But the size differential, in my mind, speaks to the humble power of what our justice system should and can be when it functions the way it's supposed to. An institution that derives its power from thoughtful reflection, intellectual fuel, and the reasoned application of the law to the facts. But always, always, always with a heart and a soul. A recognition that it must be applied, the law must be applied equally to the rich and the poor, and that the key to justice cannot be found in the simple expedient of how much one side or the other can spend on their lawyer, but in the truth made apparent from the facts. Aerith has held dear to those values throughout her career on the bench. She keeps them up front and in sharp focus all the time. Sharp focus. Not only is it an honor for Aerith and her family to be admitted into your August Hall of Fame, but the truth is it's an honor for your Hall of Fame to have Aerith as one of her members. And I really mean that. Aerith told me that the late bankruptcy judge, James Dooley, the first bankruptcy judge in the Ninth Circuit, first African-American bankruptcy judge in the Ninth Circuit, is also a member of your Hall of Fame. I did some Googling to try and find a picture of him and biographical information, but all I could come up with was a very brief obituary that told me that he was a South Carolina man who attended Benedict College, of all places, and of course an HBCU. That's where my people on my father's side come from. I grew up in New York, but I'm also a South Kakalaki boy to a certain extent, because that's where my father's people are from. And that's where my grandmom went to Benedict College. And she was a force of nature. And I'm not kidding, in and of herself, in Dillon, South Carolina, and Myrtle Beach, and all those wonderful places that mean so much to me. So that's a wonderful connection too. But let's fill up the web with some information on Judge Dooley. I'm sure he deserves it, and the people should be able to know about it. So I wanted to draw a connection, and I had an occasion. I'm teaching now at the University of Maryland Law School, and I had an occasion to bring up the name of Judge Amalia Kearse in class on Wednesday. And the reason I brought her up, why bankruptcy judges, because I was talking about student loans in the Bruner case, and Judge Kearse was on that panel. So here she is with her colleagues way back when Jimmy Carter was president, when he appointed her, and he said, this is just the beginning, right? And he appointed her to the Second Circuit. She was the very first woman on the Second Circuit, and also the second African-American. And we all know who the first one was, our hero, Thurgood Marshall. But as I saw the picture, I said, wow, she must have been a tough cookie to labor in the vineyard of justice with this crew, who I'm sure honored and respected her, right? I'm just teasing. But yeah, it made me think what kind of a person, what kind of a woman she must have been to, to be there in that environment way back when. I tried to find a picture of Erith with her colleagues to kind of give the contrast. I'm sure there is a contrast, but I was able to find such a picture. Plainly, there would be a difference even when Erith was appointed, and things have changed so much since then, right? But to the extent they have, they certainly haven't changed enough. I think, if anything, the past 4 or 5 years of history absolutely proves that beyond the shadow of a doubt, how much more things need to change. And one of the ways they can change is we need millions more of Judge Erith Smith. I know she's one of a kind, but people who cherish the same values and go on about their business through their daily lives the way she does. Millions more who are inspired by her. And I hope that the legacy cemented today by the admission of her, the well-deserved admission of her into your Hall of Fame, will help to enliven and inspire the people who need to take her life and her work and her service as an example, and then carry on to continue to change what needs to be changed in this country and also around the world. So thanks for letting me participate. I really appreciate it. I know I went a little bit longer than allotted, so I'll be quiet now with one final special congratulations and shout out to my dear buddy, Judge Erith Smith. You deserve it. You earned it. Enjoy it. Thanks. Bye-bye.
I am deeply honored and humbled to be inducted into John M. Langston Bar Association's Hall of Fame. I would like to extend congratulations to my fellow inductees, Judge Patty Titus, and attorneys Winston Kevin McKesson and Victor Anderson. When I was 8 years old, I apparently told an older cousin that I wanted to be a judge when I grew up. I don't actually remember saying that, but I'll take her word for it. And I'm so happy that I have been able to fulfill my 8-year-old self's life dream. 27 years on the bench has been extremely rewarding for me. I have enjoyed every single minute. Well, maybe not every single minute, but 99% of the minutes I have truly enjoyed. And the other 1% has been extremely challenging and educational. I'm actually going to be ending my judicial career in about a year when I will retire. And I have been asked many times, what are you going to do in retirement? I have quite a few things I'd like to do. One, I would like to take up ballroom dancing, something I just haven't had time to do. I don't actually aspire to be on Dancing with the Stars or anything like that, but I would like to learn how to do a proper foxtrot. I'm also looking forward to doing some writing and hanging out with friends and family, traveling. And of course, for those of you who know me well, I've been a licensed Zumba instructor for the past 10 years, and I fully intend to continue teaching dance fitness classes as long as my feet and my mind will let me.
Please welcome to the stage Judge Erith Smith.
Good afternoon. So, John M. Langston Bar Association had their first Hall of Fame in in 1990. In 1990, I was still a young lawyer and still trying to learn the ropes, hanging out in Orange County where I practiced as a lawyer for many years. And it felt a little lonely out in Orange County back in those days because there were hardly any women. There were no women bankruptcy judges. And there were hardly any women practicing bankruptcy in Orange County. And there were only 2 African-American attorneys practicing bankruptcy in Orange County. Myself, and yes, I'm going to out him, Bernie Brown. I actually had a case with Bernie once, and then he just disappeared. He went to LA and never came back. And he just left me in Orange County, and I have never to this day forgiven him for that. But I'm working on it, Bernie, one day. Okay. I used to attend many of the Hall of Fame galas, and I remember them as this sort of exciting evening, always indoors, formally dressed. And I would watch these legal giants receiving their honors. And never in a million years did I ever believe that I would be standing here 30 years later. Now you can look in the program and you can see all of the amazing legal minds and persons who have been honored this way. But I'm going to mention someone that many of you have probably never heard of. His name is Judge James R. Dooley. He was inducted in 1993. He is the only bankruptcy judge inducted into the Langston Hall of Fame. He was the first African-American appointed to the bankruptcy bench in the entire Ninth Circuit. And for those of you who are not familiar with how circuits work, this is California, Arizona, Nevada, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, Alaska, and Hawaii. For this organization to have honored him means so much to me because he was the trailblazer for me. And for me to be the second bankruptcy judge inducted just touches my heart because I was also the second African-American to be appointed to the bankruptcy bench in the circuit. And so I applaud you for recognizing Judge Dooley. So I know a lot of you are thinking, I know what you're thinking, bankruptcy. That doesn't sound very pleasant. And in fact, for those of you not familiar with bankruptcy, and believe me, you really don't want to be. But for those who find themselves in financial distress, it offers an opportunity to make things better financially, whether it's someone who is about to lose their home through foreclosure or a company that's about to shut down, leaving its employees without work, without income. This is what bankruptcy offers. Not everything works out well, but we do make lemonade out of lemons every once in a while. I want to tell you a story, and I apologize for the couple of you who have heard this story already. But I think it kind of explains a little bit about bankruptcy and a little bit about the legal profession. In 2009, as you know, there was a huge national real estate crash going on. In the bankruptcy world, I used to joke that we probably were making 50 cents an hour because we were all working 7 days a week, 24/7. There were so many cases. And it was not uncommon for me to have 80 to 100 motions in a morning of banks asking for permission to foreclose on people's homes. In 2009, I had a hearing, 80 hearings. And some cases, the debtors, that's what we call people who have filed bankruptcy, debtors, tried to argue that they should be entitled to keep their homes. But there was one case, when I called the case, nobody came forward. And I granted the bank's motion to allow that home to be foreclosed. 3 days later, I received a letter, a written letter, from a woman who said she had been in my courtroom 3 days earlier, that there was a motion, permission to take her home away. She knew she had no equity in the house. She couldn't afford the payments. And so she did not contest it, but she came to court anyway because she wanted to learn about the legal system. She wanted to see how the court worked. And so she showed up. She was sitting in the audience, and when her name was called, she said nothing. And in that letter, she said, I was so mesmerized by what was going on in court that after my case was called, I couldn't leave. I stayed until you took a break at noon. And she went on to say, I was so proud of our justice system that day, that I was so impressed with how you treated people who were losing their homes, how sympathetic you were with them, and that you are my hero. And I am so proud that you were there. And I believe in our judicial system. And thank you so much for being there. This is a woman, 68 years old, who was losing her home. I have kept that letter on my desk for the last 12 years to remind me of the enormity that we as judges and lawyers have to the legal system, which, as Kevin has pointed out, is imperfect. But I think it is really important that all of us in the legal profession continue to do our part to make it better, to make it more just for everyone. And when you have someone who has lost everything, but can still say, I'm so proud of our legal system, it tells you how important this is, because you may represent, doesn't matter if you're doing bankruptcy, who you're representing, large corporations, small businesses, individuals. At the end of the day, there are real people behind those cases. And we are the face of justice, not just the judges, but the lawyers as well. We represent that, and it's so important for us to make the system better and to keep improving and improving and improve it until it becomes a more perfect system. Okay, I didn't mean to quite go there, but I keep that letter on my desk also because it inspires me to try to always live up to the expectations of Sylvia Kelly. I also want to just take this opportunity. I feel like I've rambled on. Storyteller, okay. I don't know if you consider that a story. I'll cut it a little short. I just want to make sure, because let me just say as an aside, when I was a little girl, I wanted to be an actor. And quite frankly, I thought it would have been a damn good one too. But my mother was a school teacher. She taught me to be practical, get a paying job. And so I kind of dispensed with that, but I used to practice my Academy Award acceptance in the mirror with a hairbrush. This is better than a hairbrush. So I'm going to give a John M. Langston Bar Association Academy Award acceptance. Of John Langston Bar Association, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I never expect to receive this recognition, and it means so much to me, especially in the last year of my career. Especially the co-chairs. Oh my God, Margot and Ann. I hope you're gonna have a stiff drink after all this. Especially Ann, who happens to be a high school classmate of mine. And you're a saint because you handle it with such patience and grace the 255 texts and emails that I've sent you about this program over the past several months. I also want to thank those who are here from Black Women Lawyers Association. When I started as a lawyer, as I said, Bernie left me out in Orange County. And there were, again, it was hard to connect with people. So I would drive in 45 miles every week on a weeknight, usually Thursdays, I think, for the Black Women Lawyers meetings. For the support and the love. It meant so much to me to be able to excel for just a moment. And I remember when Judge Patty Titus was president, that's when we met through BWL. She was a fabulous president of BWL. No one gets where they are by themselves. I think someone else already said today. And I just want to thank a few more members of my village. I'm going to go way back to high school. St. Michael's High School for Girls that used to be on Manchester and Vermont doesn't quite exist anymore, but we are there in spirit. And let me tell you that today, there are 10 of my Starlet sisters, class of 1975, 46 years later, and the sisterhood continues. I just can't tell you how touched I am by that, to have their support. My colleagues, judges that are here, oh my God, I didn't know you guys had 2 tables. My goodness, I am just so shocked. And let me tell you, the bankruptcy court is the largest bankruptcy court in the country. I have over 20 colleagues. I can honestly say without reservation that I adore every single one of them. I mean, they are just so amazing to me, and they've always been so supportive, and I get a little choked up because it is truly a court family. Speaking of family, I've got, in addition, well, I'll get to the Smith family, but I have my law school buddies too. Everybody's represented. Oh, I skipped over college. That would be Winston Kevin McKesson. We went to college together at LMU. And what's interesting about that is we had a lot of classes together. And we used to compete for A's to see who would get the most A's. And inevitably, Kevin, after every exam, so Aerith, what did you get? It would have killed me to have gotten a B when I knew he got an A. So I think it's very appropriate that we are on the same bill tonight. We don't have to compete to see who gets in the Hall of Fame first. My law school buddies are here. And again, we got Kiki all the way from Northern California. We've got Sharon here. She was my roommate, by the way, in law school. And she was 19 years old. Just let that sink in. I have the Smith family who's also here. And they have had my back my entire life. I cannot say enough about my relatives, my aunts, uncles, cousins who are here today. Again, I'm going to get choked up if I say anything more about them. And my siblings, Byron, Kevin, and Piper. The past 18 months as I have roamed around the house by myself, talking to myself and answering, which my mother said is a sign of craziness. It's true. I've had to really lean on my siblings throughout the pandemic, and we've discovered how much we enjoy each other's company. And maybe we might not have known that so deeply, but for the pandemic. So there's a silver lining. And before the band starts playing me off, I just want to again, and God, I hope I didn't forget anybody. Did I forget anybody? No, okay. Thank you again, John Langston Bar Association, and everyone, the honorees, and everyone who came out in support of all the honorees. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart.
To whom much is given, much is required. When I came into the legal profession in 1984, I had no idea that women comprised only 24% of the profession. It never even occurred to me to ask that question. But once I came into the profession, it became very clear to me that in order to succeed, I had to continue doing what I've always done, which is always strive for excellence. 15 years in the DA's office, 20 years on the bench, and with this recognition right now in my 35th year in the legal profession, it's heartening to know that people recognize the excellence with which you strive to operate. My mantra when I'm hearing my cases is serving the public with excellence, rendering justice with wisdom. And it's important to me because although I grew up in the hood, the little h, not the capital H, but the hood nonetheless, it's important for when the litigants come in that they feel like it's someone who can relate to them. And I can relate, especially in my particular assignments, drug court and restraining orders. And I always strive to keep the person intact while dealing straight with the behavior. And to be recognized by the John M. Langston Bar Association, organization of which I'm a life member, along with my fellow honorees, it is just such a joy, unspeakable joy. And I am grateful for this recognition. We don't do it for the recognition, but it's very heartwarming to know that people appreciate what you try to give to the profession. I grew up in a family where public service was just one of our reasons of being. And so to be here at this stage of my career and to be recognized for the public service that I hold so dearly to my heart and is a mantra of my family, it just warms my heart. And it's my hope that I will continue and be buoyed by this recognition to continue serving the public with excellence and rendering justice with wisdom. And I'm grateful that the Lord saw fit to make me his judge, according to Exodus 18:21, which was on my campaign literature when I ran those many years ago. So thank you, John M. Langston Bar Association. I thank my family and friends for being here today to witness my induction into the Hall of Fame.
Next, coming to the stage, our next presenter is also a John M. Langston Bar Association Hall of Fame inductee. She recently retired from her position as a Superior Court judge in the Superior Court of California Probate Division. She and our next awardee have been friends and colleagues for several years. Please welcome to the stage Judge Barbara Johnson, who will introduce our final honoree.
Good evening. It is a pleasure to introduce the Honorable Patty Patricia J. Titus as one of this year's Hall of Fame honorees. She's being honored. Yay! She's being honored for her excellent service for over 35 years to the legal community, 20 of those years having served on the Los Angeles Superior Court. I congratulate all the other honorees and a special shout out to Erith, whose family grew up on the same street where my parents still live. As I only have 3 minutes, although I've been sitting over there timing you, everybody has gone over the time limit, but I promise I won't. There's no way that I could trumpet the laurels of Patty, my friend. So I'll just tell you a few reasons why she's worthy of this honor. She is a woman of faith. She believes in the power of prayer. Her faith sustains her such that she strives to do everything to the glory of God. She's all about family. She is loved and respected by her family and will do anything for them. She was a caregiver for her mother, Jonice Titus, and oversees the care of her father, King Titus, who happens to be 91 years old. She's a doting aunt to 2 nieces and a nephew, and she rarely misses a birthday gathering, no matter where she has to fly to get to them. I have insinuated myself into the Titus family. So much so that King Papa Titus calls me Big Sis. No disrespect to Daphne or Helena. That's just the name he gave me. I can't help it. She's a world traveler. And as an adopted family member, I've had the opportunity to be treated royally on our trip to Ghana. Thank you, Daphne. Thank you, Patty. They said, we're going on a trip to Ghana. I said, okay, I'm going too. And we were treated royally. Patty is also a fiercely loyal friend, generous to a fault. Any of you that are friends with Patty will recognize that. When I was new to the bench, this is just a story, Patty was riding on the elevator with some DA friends in my courthouse. The DAs were making uncharitable comments about me. I was new to the bench, probably deserved, but not according to Patty. They were complaining about one of my rulings that I had made. Not knowing or maybe not caring that Patty was on the elevator, she came to my defense, telling them loudly, you don't know what you're talking about. I was her friend, Barbara Johnson. Judge Barbara Johnson is my friend, and that I was probably right, and they were better get off their high horses. Now, Patty didn't tell me this. Somebody else told me. Not to mention that she's helped my nephew enjoy his Howard undergrad summer abroad when he was in Africa, or referring a caregiver for my mom, and embracing my family. That's the kind of friend that Patty is. Patty is also a fashionista, I like to call her. I've never seen her nails chipped. Her hair is always in place. If you've ever been to her home, especially during Kwanzaa or Christmas, her living room and surroundings look like a center page of House Beautiful. She is an organizational genius. Every box is labeled. Every piece of jewelry is hung in a correct order, and every piece of clothing is color coordinated. It has been said that we are what our thinking makes us. Patty's thinking makes her fair, rational, unbiased, and she is of superior intellect. All the necessary attributes that make her a respected judge and person. She deserves this honor, not just because she's a judge, and not just because she's been around for a long time, over 35 years, but because she cares about the people that come before her. She cares about her community. She cares about the future of women and young lawyers that she mentors. Patty embodies the saying that goes, "Judge thyself with the judgment of sincerity, and thou wilt judge others with the judgment of charity." Thank you, my friend, for asking me to join with those in the audience and those that are online in celebrating our legacy. That is one Patty J. Titus. Thank you.
Thank you to my dear BFF, Barbara R. Johnson. As she mentioned, my dad's name is King, so that makes me a princess. And today's my day, so that's why I'm dressed up. Overdressed on purpose. It's my day. But I'm just here to express gratitude, just profound gratitude. And I'm grateful for so many things. First of all, I am grateful that God decided to entrust me to be his judge. Many of you were there. You saw that I had the Word of God on my campaign literature, and you agreed with the people of California in the county of Los Angeles that I was the right choice for justice. I am so grateful that 30 years later, all of you here in the John M. Langston Bar Association see that I have fulfilled that purpose. So thank you. I am so grateful for that. I don't take it lightly. I don't take it lightly. And I hand over restraining orders and drug court. And it's very important for me to deal with behavior, but keep the person intact and give them a way forward. So I'm grateful to be entrusted with the role of judge. I'm also grateful for my family. My family has an ethos of public service. And I'm grateful to be brought up in a family that we know that we have certain benefits, and it's important for us to share those with others. You might be familiar with the parable of the talents. Some get one, some get two, some get five. Those of us in the legal profession, all of us professionals, we are the ones that have five. And we're supposed to occupy until the Lord comes again. That means make the world a better place because you are here. And this award today pats me on the back and say, you made the legal profession and our community a better place. And for that, I am grateful. Ask yourself, what am I doing with my five? Because when that day comes, we be gnashing of teeth. And you still have time, and that's the good news, because that's that dash between the year you're born and the year that you die. You still have time. I'm a joiner because I believe that with numbers, we can do much. So I'm a member of several organizations, and I'd like to acknowledge them at this time. First of all, I want to recognize my immediate family. My three siblings are here. My sister Daphne, who's a retired ambassador from the State Department, diplomat from the State Department. Her husband's a retired ambassador. My brother, Marshall Titus, he's a dentist in Seattle, and his wife, Helen Howe, is also a lawyer in Seattle. Thank you for being here today. And of course, my younger sister, Reverend Helena Titus. I have several friends and family here. Please stand, my family members. Dr. Betty Groves. I have Link sisters that are here, Delta sisters that are here, Toastmasters that are here, BWL members, Association of African American California Judicial Officers, of which I'm a charter member. Of course, I'm a life member of Langston Cable and BWL, and the list goes on and on. But I don't do that because I don't have anything better to do, but because in the Black community, we always have to fight. And when we fight in numbers, we're able to make changes. And lastly, I just want to say thank you to those of you who are still in the DA's office and willing to hang in there. When I was a DA, I did my best to try to make things better. One thing I'm proud of is when I came into the DA's office, handling murder cases in the Family Violence Division, they only had one figure, and it was a male figure. So if the female victim was murdered by her loved one, you had to use a male figure for your trial. I said, that's just insane. And I had the Donald Bohanna case. I told the trial support division, draw me a female body. And they did, and they've used it ever since. But why did it take all that time for someone to say, give me a female figure for a female victim? So this is the kind of impact that we can make when we come into the profession and just be ourselves. Just be ourselves. All of you are needed in the legal profession, whatever profession you might also be in, you're needed. I have an example that I say, we're all this melting pot. That's something that's used in America. We're a melting pot. The white people might be the potatoes, Asians might be the peas, Latinos might be the carrots. Well, Black people, we be the meat. And if we are not fully fleshed out and as flavorful as we should be, then instead of a flavorful stew, it'll just be a very bland soup. So we need to fully show up in our uniqueness so that we can speak truth to power and make a difference. Lastly, I'd just like to say that I am grateful to have had experience in the Family Violence Division as a DA, because now being charged with the domestic violence restraining orders, I feel it's my duty to ring the bell and sound the alarm about the availability of domestic violence restraining orders. They're free because domestic violence is the second cause of death among Black women between the ages of 18 to 35. That's a travesty. Somebody needs to do something about it. So in my limited way as a judge, I've written this book and I accept all speaking engagements to tell the community about the availability of restraining orders. And for those of you who are lawyers or law students, the clinics always need lawyers to help people fill out those 40-page packets. And that's a good way to get legal experience dealing with the public. So thank you for agreeing with the voters 20 years ago that I was the right choice for justice. And thank you for being here today to agree that I'm the right choice now for induction into the hallowed Hall of Fame of the John M. Langston Bar Association.
I would like to bring to the stage Attorney Sheila Bankhead to give our benediction for this day's event.
There. Can you hear me? Something is not fair. First of all, I'm looking up at everybody, and then I had to follow Judge Patty Titus looking so beautiful. But I'm bringing the benediction. This should be one of the most favorite parts of the ceremony at this time. Please, a benediction is a blessing, and you don't want to leave without a blessing, and you can leave with a blessing. So just close your eyes and just focus on the blessing that you are receiving. The Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. Now you have received the blessing. And during this time, I know you have been inspired and you have been motivated and encouraged by all the wonderful accomplishments of these fine people that we have celebrated today. And I want you to take that blessing that you have received, and I want you to take the fuel from the inspiration of these individuals and go out, as Patty said, and be a blessing. It is now your time to give the blessing that you have received. And I want you just to repeat this very quick little phrase that I came up with several years ago. I want you to repeat it after me. My skills, my abilities, and my talents are tools from God to touch the lives of others, to transform communities, and to impact the world. I know all of you here are doing that. Sometimes you might get a little weary, but I want you to take the fuel from today, and I want you to repeat as you go on. My skills, my talents, my abilities are tools from the hands of God to touch the lives of others, to transform my communities, and to impact the world. Be blessed, but don't go anywhere.